Let us come together for our prayer of humanity. And by coming together, this isn't something that we necessarily have to do physically. It's coming together from the heart, wherever we are, into that beautiful point of light that we all have inside ourselves, the real self. So let us remember before God the great need of all humankind, and that we may pray to God and just make quiet the fretful, busy mind of every day. Let us open our hearts to the Father, Mother God, to Christ the Son, to the Holy Trinity of wisdom, love, and power. In the holy name of Christ, by the Christ light in the hearts of all people, we call upon the great angels of Christ. We feel their presence and their power. We attune ourselves to the prayers of all men and women of good will. And being thus prepared and ready before God, with all the will of our minds, with all the love of our deepest hearts, we send forth the light. We send it forth as a great star of light, a blazing star, a star of the Christ light, lifting all hearts into the eternal heart of God, by all the power of Christ within our hearts. We send forth the light to the world. We hold our beautiful planet in the healing light of the Christ star. And we hold within this healing ray the soil, the waters of the earth and the air, and all of nature, especially the human and the animal kingdoms. And let us particularly hold at this time our global community. Those human souls all over the world, in varying circumstances and conditions. Those in migrant camps, those in palatial palaces, all are a simple human soul at a deep level. So let us just hold our family of humankind in the pure light of the Christ love. So now we hold in the Christ star the soul of the Americas, the soul of all the people of the Americas. May the light of the Christ star shine through the hearts and the minds of all the people of the Americas to bring healing to mankind and a deep reverence for all of life. So let us now take a few moments to hold within this great healing star anybody who we know personally who is in perhaps need of some special help at this time. Just let us see them perfect in the light. And we thank thee, Lord, for your presence and the blessing of your healing grace upon these, your family. Amen. Amen. And just a wonderful gift that we receive from you all, so bless you. Now, we have quite a little story about this. I had thought and seen a wonderful little article some years ago entitled children of light. And so I gave the reading to Ken, and I said, well, did you like it? And so I didn't get an extremely delightful, oh, this is a wonderful reading. It was a lovely reading, but he has chosen the reading today, which was so exactly and so much better. So I do thank you, even though it threw a loop in my talk. And then, of course, I was down in the office typing away, and it wouldn't print. I tried to print, so I thought, okay, this is just another test. It isn't going to print. So luckily Diane was in the office and said, send it to me, and she printed it. So at least we've got something instead of deathly silence. So I thank you, Diane, as always. I think we've all noticed at this time, with the restrictions and with the really chaos going on in the earth, alternatively, there is this enormous power that is flowing into the earth. And if we're quiet for a little while, we'll feel this wonderful light. So, as always, we have a choice, don't we? Are we going to be fully in our minds, or are we going to take time to go into the heart? There is a wonderful harmony of light which each one of us can tap into. It's always a choice, isn't it? Remember, this is a time when it becomes so vital to be, yes, in the earth so we can be useful, but not of it. To be swayed and pulled and pushed and pulverized and all the rest of what we see around us, with all the many different conflicting opinions that are on the mass media, I don't think many people have a newspaper any longer, but on our media platforms. And so the little mind says, well, what should I believe? Instead of realizing if they go straight into the heart, into the real heart of things, they'll know exactly what to believe, that all is actually very well. And what we are being asked to do is to choose whether we're going to live with the mind of earth or whether we're going to live with spirit. It's hard, isn't it, not to take and make strong opinions, because some of it is all so absurd. Yet we must become as our beloved Master, stilling the storm of emotion, calming the waters of the earth, and bringing through ourselves that healing balm. That healing balm is able to flow through us only when we're peaceful inside. We can talk about peace, we can think about peace, but we're actually not being peaceful until we are peaceful. And then it's got a clear channel to flow through. It's an uncompromising focus, and it's then able to flow into the world, creating the future which we all envision and hope for a joyous, harmonious, and happy life. So what is it that might interfere with this lovely ideal of living with spirit? Most probably our fears. Fears for our own personal well-being, fears for the future. It's always good to remember that this state of fear is in the mind and not of the heart. Science tells us that 1 minute of anger weakens the immune system for 4 to 5 hours. 1 minute of laughter boosts the immune system for 24 hours. J.B. Priestley has some advice. Try to regard your states of mind as visits to places. For instance, now I'm in an angry place, or a melancholy place, or a fearful, misunderstood by everyone place. The point is, if you do this and don't identify yourself with these states of mind, remember they're not you. And he says it really works. To see and separate oneself from the emotional body. Okay, we're experiencing this, let's observe it. let's not get drawn into it and thrown off our centre or our base. White Eagle is very clear when he tells us that when there is a great outpouring of light, there's always a certain amount of shadow, but in time the shadows disperse and the children of God enter into the fullness of life and light. This is no time for any of us to be complacent. All our efforts of mind and heart must plough the straight furrow, bringing our creative thought of a world that we really want. The earth is full of people at all levels thinking they might have the answer to the problems. All the legislators, the governments throughout the world, the doctors, thousands of also spiritual groups, all doing their best to try and find an answer. But so many are tapping into the wrong space. Yet some are called workers for the light or children of the light. So you might ask, who is a child of light? In the Gospel of Matthew, there is a phrase, which I expect we're all familiar with, which says, "By their fruits you shall know them." Know whom? White Eagle says these are the children of light. We'll know them by their lives, by their speech, by their character, by every thought, word, and deed. A child of light will be known. Children of light do not take sides, do they? They don't disagree with somebody else's spiritual path or say that they are in possession of the only truth, when the only truth we know is actually that which we individually have uncovered ourselves. The path of a child of light is simple, and it will unfold exactly in the place that you and I find ourselves at this moment. We're in the perfect place. We don't have to go anywhere or be somebody special. We're doing it. There's a story about an innkeeper many years ago in the Middle East, and he had run this inn for years and years and welcomed people and made them comfortable, fed them and sent them on their way in a happy and harmonious place. Well, as he grew older, he thought, I really need to be studying the scriptures. I really need to learn more of the ancient wisdom so that I may serve in a better way. So he let his son take over the running of the inn. Now the son was what many of us might call interested in the bottom line. What was he going to get from this? And so this was quite distressing for the father, who began to look at what he'd built and see what had happened. And so he prayed about this at a deep level, and his innermost spirit spoke to him in saying, "It is not what you know, it is not the brilliance of which you speak, it's the kindness and the love you have shown to these many travellers over so many years. This is your work. And this is how you grow towards the Father, Mother, to God. It's by the simple daily acts, not by knowing the scriptures. You may not even know one word of the scriptures, but what you did know is how to love." The truth of our being is universal, isn't it? And the truth finds its roots in our spirit. Spirit being universal. We're all part of this same spirit. And those we might perceive of in the world now as the dark side are in fact members of our own human family. And it's only when we're able to embrace the spark of light, however dim, within all aspects of our family or fellow human beings, can we bring a resolution. A wonderful, quiet and gentle peace may steal over us then, billions of human beings who will eventually realize they were all part of each other. So may we be numbered as children of the light, keeping on in the finest way we can, striving to think positively and kindly and constructively of each other, seeking not to judge, and how hard this is. The teaching of love and brotherhood must eventually be accepted and applied to every aspect of our life. White Eagle says, never despair for mankind or for the states of the nations around the world at the present time. Don't entertain any thoughts of fear for the future. We come to tell you that the light of the great ones is shining upon the earth and is slowly but surely manifesting itself through the hearts of each one of you. So we speak to the children of light, knowing that the numbers are not quite enough as yet to send forth that light with sufficient power. So there comes additional light from the world of spirit to help and reinforce our efforts. So just how do we project this light into the world? By fulfilling the law of love. Very simply, by fulfilling the law of love in every aspect of our daily life. There is no other way. You cannot legislate love. So let the barrier of all perceived thought about the state of the world just evaporate. Leave nothing but the light to fill ourselves and the world. And you may depend that it will, with enough of us doing the work. White Eagle says, O Great Spirit, gather us into your heart of love. Unite us in spirit. Give us the strength to sustain your wisdom within our hearts, our minds, your wisdom, your love, and your peace. So let us now come together, very conscious of that divine spirit within the heart. Just bring our focus right down into the heart. Into the gentleness of spirit, but also so aware of the power of a spirit-directed life, which by saying not a word may influence the whole world. So we breathe in that gentle peace. Being aware that in our midst there are those myriad of souls, of lighted beings who have served the earth, who come again to support us at this time of testing, this time of change, this time of illumination of the human spirit. So we are aware of the Master's love within our midst, and these beautiful rays given through those simple symbols of the bread and the wine. Bread to sustain us in our journey, and the wine, which is the magical spirit which illuminates and moves us forward on the path. So just in the silence, let's be still and accept those gifts if we choose, and the blessing that flows. May God's blessing draw us ever closer as one family, powerful, full of love. In the name of the Father, Mother, and Christ the Son, we give thanks for our creation. Amen. Amen. Amen.